Okay, so the machine that I'm going to use is this model 6260. It's Quilter's Companion by Janome. I've several embroidery machines. This one was a slightly dearer one. I think I paid £375 if I'm thinking correct. I can't think back. It was quite several years ago when I started doing the classes. Now it has several designs. I rarely use any of the designs. I have done a couple of videos on the machines, but unfortunately I've never really been in love with these small domestic machines. I'm really an industrial machine person. Occasionally I take them out to do some difficult work, like maybe perhaps buttons or perhaps edging or something, or even I've done a couple of ponchas and so on. Now this one is all you basically do is you select which design you want, and by pressing these buttons you can alternate and select the design that you want. Now at the moment I've taken the foot off because I'm going to be using it. I haven't got a darning foot. I don't know what I've done with the darning foot. So basically what I'm going to use, I'm not using any foot at all. Normally there's a foot. This lever, the foot normally clamps into this, and it presses the two fabrics together. Now with this embroidery I don't want anything pressing on the fabric because I want it freehand, so I'm using this as a freehand, and I've just selected number 4, which is this sort of like a zigzaggy stitch. It's like a jagged edge stitch, and that's where number 4 is showing that I've selected that. It's a fairly long stitch that I've selected because I wanted, basically all it is to tie the embroidery to the dress itself. So that's a little bit details about the machine. I'm just gonna put this back in the stand, and then it's going to lose focus, so just bear with me. I don't want to turn it off because I want to do editing to the videos. So all it is let's see if we can pull the camera down a little bit, because now I'm a little bit tight on space, so I'm going to try and do the best and try and show you at the same time. The camera position is actually a little bit awkward because, hold on, let's see if we can swivel this around a bit. You're going to see all sorts here. Trying to get the legs to that's better. Just trying to get as much closer focus as possible and try and let you see to the best of my ability what I'm gonna be doing, hopefully. So I've not actually done this on this particular dress, so you're gonna maybe see me, it won't be a smooth start, but inshallah once we get into the hang of things, then we'll get more. Okay, so we're going to start with this on. I'm going to start it right at the end. Even though we're putting this down, it actually won't make any difference because it's not holding the two fabrics together. So what we're going to do is hold the fabric, and we're just going to freehand go around the edges. Now it is fine, so try and match your thread up quite well so that the thread doesn't show and it becomes fixed with part of the embroidery. So you need to sort of follow this through as much as the embroidery as possible on the edges. It's not hard to do, you just need to learn to stop and to actually pull on the fabric according to how you want it, and You know, I've never actually used embroidery machines to do this, but it's actually really good. Now I'm just using normal cotton. I'm not using the embroidery thread because that's normally very fine and it tears very quickly. And to be honest, I haven't got the patience. If the thread keeps tearing, then I haven't really got the patience to put up with it. So I'm actually just using normal cotton, which is the normal sewing thread that I generally use. So it is a bit of a pain. And if you can't be bothered going around all of this, try and stretch the where you don't want to actually go around all the bits. Okay, thread's broken. Where you don't want to go around all the bits, then try and take longer leaps in your stitching. So if you pull on the stitching, what you will do is, rather than getting very compact stitching, the stitching will be quite far, but it won't create any breaks. What I would suggest to try this out is, you know how you get embroidered fabrics? Take a patch of embroidery off a fabric and try sticking it onto some spare fabric and see the kind of result you get, and experiment with it. I hope I've made sense trying to explain that. So, you know, like how you get leftover pieces out of dresses. It may have been some embroidered dress which you got, and now it's, because it's quite solid, it's actually breaking the thread. I spoke too soon. This makes it more difficult because I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way of the camera, so hopefully you won't have that problem because I'm trying to record at the same time. I'm sitting in an awkward position because my wires are not extending to as far as where I can show you, so it's a little bit more difficult for me, but hopefully that won't be a problem for you guys and you will be able to get a far better result doing this than what I'm struggling to get, because I'm trying to video, trying to talk, trying to explain all at the same time, trying to keep the camera focus and visible. And hopefully if I was just doing this, and if I was just concentrating on this, then I could probably do it a lot more quicker and without all this hassle. Okay, so thread is broken again. What we're going to do is go around the whole of this, all the way around. I'm going to try and get my machine back in place so I'm a little bit more comfortable, because one of the reasons why these problems are occurring is because of trying to do too many things at once. And what you got to remember is, as a human being, we're not capable of doing multitasking all at once. And I think the thread, make sure you try and get good quality thread. Sometimes it is down to the thread as well that it keeps breaking. Sometimes the needle is not as sharp, and there is a problem with the needle that you can have reoccurring breakage of threads. So if your thread is breaking you know, constantly, then those are the things to bear in mind. Try changing the tension to something lower, and I'll just give you a little bit of a glimpse of what the underside of this looks like. So you can see the zigzag pattern of the outline of the embroidery, which is basically what you're doing is attaching the outside of the embroidery onto the fabric to make it like it's all one. So let's have another attempt and see how far we get with this. A good table, a good place to set your machine, comfortable place where you can control it is at a reasonable height will all help in getting a better result. Sometimes we put machines on a surface which is not suitable for, you know, doing embroidery and so on. And now one of the reasons why this has actually helped me in getting this done a lot easier is down to using the Wonder Web and you know, just keeping it. Here the Wonder Web hadn't reached, and you can see that the embroidery is floppy. So where the surface is floppy and it's not stuck down properly firmly, then you will have problems that when the machine penetrates, because there's no, also it's burnt out, and some areas where the burnout has actually burnt too much of the fabric together, it's made it a little bit stiffer as well. So that's one of the other reasons why thread is breaking constantly. Now it is a little bit floppy here because it's not stuck down. There we are. Here, when I burnt this out, it actually lumped up a little bit and it's a lot stiffer, and that's one of the reasons why there is a constant breaking of thread. Okay, so we're gonna have to work around this. I think what I'm gonna do is, first of all, on areas like this, you need to sort of concentrate and maybe apply something else. Now the other thing is, you know, when you're doing this embroidery, make sure to keep your foot down. Even though the foot isn't holding the fabric in place, when the foot is up, the tension is a lot looser and the thread is coming out really loose. So when you put the foot down, it actually puts pressure on the tension, and thread is fed at a more tighter, you know, and it'll stop it from gathering. So what we're gonna do is, because this area isn't tied, I'm gonna run a stitching like this down, and then that's made it better. I'm going back and forth here, which is fine, as long as you're, you know, this was a hard bit because there was no reinforcement tying. Okay, that's done the job. We'll clip the threads off in the end. I'm gonna just go, because it's all right. Make sure to keep the foot presser down. Now we manage this far until the thread is gone again. I think I've got a lousy batch of thread here. I didn't have this reoccurring snipping problem the last time, but because this thread is a little bit thicker, we've got several breakages.